Welcome to Women in Conservation Wednesday. Today we are here with Meryem Özkan, a turtle biologist from Cyprus. Meryem, could you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Hello there. As you just announced, I am a turtle biologist from Cyprus. I spent all of my life in Cyprus, apart from the 3 years I spent studying in Wales in UK, and then I came back to Cyprus to work, hopefully for the rest of my life, with the turtles of Cyprus and everywhere else. I am now involved with Spot Society for the Protection of Turtles. I am now this is cool to say, conservation project officer involved with them. So hopefully in the coming year, I'm going to be involved with plenty of conservation projects that are going to be applied in Cyprus, but hopefully be linked and in partnership with a lot of many other organizations around the world.
Awesome. So you mentioned that you studied for 3 years in Wales. Could you just give us a bit of background as to how you actually got into conservation in the first place?
Well, it is a very little, nice, heartwarming story, actually.
Excellent.
On the age of 16, I was just being involved with some summer camps and some volunteerings around Cyprus. And one of the last weeks to the end of the summer break, a friend of mine mentioned the turtle project going on and possibility of volunteering with them. So I was like, okay, sounds interesting. It would benefit me because it's going to be with a lot of international people, opportunity to improve, language skills. I am planning on hopefully studying somewhere abroad, so I can just go and meet those interesting people. So I applied and ended up in the project because it being the end of the season, a lot of the university students who were normally involved with the project would be on their way back to studies abroad. So it was like, okay, nice thing. I am going there, excited and nervous, not knowing what to expect. So I ended up there, and it was like very basic accommodation. I wasn't really used to it, and because I didn't know what to expect, I was honestly surprised. But then I met the team, and they were really friendly. I can't even describe how welcoming they were, and it didn't change for all those years. Every single season, the team at Turtle Project is the best family that you could have for those couple of months you're spending on the project. So, like everything seeming a bit odd, it still felt really nice. I was like, okay, I'll give it a go. I'll just stick around for a couple of days. So the first day you are walking the beaches. It was one of the hardest things I ever had to do because it's kilometers and kilometers under like very hot sun. You are dripping in sweat. It's really hard. And the first day I had no hatching nests. It was just a long walk on every single beach you could think of under hot sun, and there was nothing. So the second day, I'm a bit heartbroken because I feel like, what did I do? How did I end up here? And then we had that hatching nest, and I saw the babies. I can't explain how easy it is to fall in love with them. They teach you how to excavate the nest, and the first nest you're going to be excavating, you're trying to remove the sand from around their little beautiful faces. And then you see that nose just poking through the sand, and your heart just skips a beat. It just does. And then when you're trying to pull one out, they hug you with one of their flippers, and then the other one they use to remove the sand from their eyes, and you just fall in love. So that's how I fell in love with them. And I just couldn't let them go. It was just so easy to not let go, I guess. The sun is okay, the sweat is okay, just dying day and night working is okay. It's just, you love them. They're babies. And then the next year, I saw the females, and they are gorgeous. the effort they put in just trying to lay their eggs, they spend hours and hours and hours in an environment where they can't even breathe properly, just to find that perfect spot to leave their babies so they're going to be secure, so they can go out and make it to the sea and hopefully survive long enough to make it to adulthood and come back. It's just an amazing thing to see, and it's just really easy to fall in love. So that's how I fell in love with turtles and conservation too.
Amazing. I was about to ask what your favorite thing about turtles is, but I think you just answered that for us already.
Their little flippers is just so cute. I love it when they hug you. Then again, their rear flippers is like the best thing to watch. When they're little, when they're tiny little hatchlings, they're just really cute to pet. I mean, they're not pets, but when you touch them, it's just amazing. And then the females, when they're trying to make their egg chambers, so the process is that basically they have this body pit. They dig deep enough so their body is going to be fitting in that huge pit. And then once they figure that it's deep enough, then they start digging out their egg chambers to lay their eggs into this like tube-looking pit. When they're doing that, the way that they arch their flippers, they basically make it into a very big spoon, and then they just scoop that sand out, and it looks amazing. They are as majestic as it gets when you're watching them, but when you see that movement, how much care it takes, how much effort for them, it's just so beautiful and really pretty to watch too. So yeah, their flippers is so cute. That's the bit I love about them. Not their nature, not the migration paths, not how endangered they are, but their flippers.
No, that's amazing. I can definitely agree with you on that. Having seen them body putting and seen the little baby flippers as well, I can definitely confirm that they are really so beautiful. How have you found the experience of working in conservation as a woman, and do you feel like it's had an impact on your work in the field of conservation?
So when studying biology, the people that I met were already in the field. They always negatively affected my mindset about being a female conservationist, not gonna lie. They were like, it's very hard trying to compete with male conservationists because they are picked for their physical strength, for them being thought of being more dependable people. So when I graduated, I was actually a bit upset having applied to a few places and not getting the job, which happens. It is supposed to happen. Not everyone can get every job. But thinking that being a female in conservation field would lower my chances threw me off a bit. But then I came back to Cyprus the same year I graduated from university, and with the suggestion of the previous year's project leader, the project coordinator asked me to be a team leader in one of the remote bases that Marine Turtle Conservation Project has. So I ended up working in Karpaz base, which is quite a busy base with over 30 beaches to monitor, with 2 other team leaders. That journey, I'm gonna say, took me around 6 months, and it was the best time of my life. You know how you're worried constantly that sex matters, and being a female in whatever field you're working at is going to be impacting you? I was extremely lucky with the people I was working with. I went up there, and the team leaders who greeted me, who worked with me, they didn't care that I was a female. They didn't once think that I was not going to be working as hard because I was a female, and they didn't once act as if I wasn't as important as them too. They were both males, and we were all equals. And that gave me the self-confidence I needed so that I could act as sex didn't matter as well. Because you are grown with that subconscious messages around you, like females not as strong, females not as hardworking, females not as powerful. It's not even people around you, or it's not even that they mean it, but even just that being mentioned is affecting you very, very badly in a subconscious emotional level. I didn't realize that I was affected by it until that point that I saw it actually didn't matter. And that's all thanks to the project and the people that I got to work with. So the next year after that, I was asked to become a project leader. So to run the turtle project. That was like, wow, okay, am I actually going to be doing this? And I was going to be running it with another project leader, another male leader. And I can't be thankful enough for the same way that he acted around me as the other male team leaders did. He wasn't once afraid I wouldn't be good enough because I was a female. And because of COVID, unfortunately, in 2020, the way that we run the project had to be changed. The Marine Turtle Conservation Project in Cyprus has always been run with a majority of international students. And the other project leader who was going to be running with me was coming from abroad as well. With COVID, the borders were all closed and the flights were stopped. So we couldn't have any of the volunteers that we were supposed to have. And also the other project leader who was going to be flying out. So we changed the way of recruiting volunteers and managed to get a lot more volunteers in. And that instant change taught me a lot. It taught me how to work under stressful conditions. It taught me how to be a proper manager and a leader, to be able to lead any project or life experiences, to be honest. Like, to form a new family from ground zero is hard. So conservation teaches you a lot to pursue any career you're going to be needing to or wanting to in the future. But well, cutting back to the topic, the female and male sexes are mentioned several times every single day, every single moment, and people who are mentioning it to either remind you to be not sexist or just mentioning it to be sexist are always going to be around and always going to be doing what they do. But as long as we are confident enough to pursue whatever career we want to, and we have a very good team and family who are amazing enough to support us in the careers that we choose to go with, we're just going to be badass enough to achieve whatever we want. So what's happened with me is that conservation I chose, and with the conservation, it led me to an amazing path to have a beautiful career, and hopefully, if I may say, an amazing family to get it going with as well.
I think that's absolutely true, and thank you so much for sharing that with us. I completely agree that we're sort of born with this subconscious mentality that there are some things that women can't do, and certainly in the conservation world, you go into it. Certainly us as students at the moment, we're looking at people on TV, people in that, or in other lines of conservation work, and the majority of them are men. So it's so amazing to hear that people like you are, trailblazing the way for future female conservationists. You mentioned that your project works a lot with international volunteers, and I was just wondering if you also worked with the local communities on the ground.
Yes, so we always had some local volunteers who were being involved with the project, but these especially 2 years where it was very hard to get volunteers from overseas, their involvement had to be much more than it was previously. So it may sound odd, but COVID actually helped us build a better local community to engage with. Not because I didn't want to before, not I, but us as a project, not that we didn't want to before, but it's always hard to focus on how to reach local community when majority of the people you are working with is internationals. There's always this language barrier going on, and the mentality of how to approach people is quite different wherever you are in the world. Like, to you, Zoom might be an amazing opportunity to contact people. To me too, because we are around the same age and we have been through roughly the same path, and we are using all the digital methods to reach each other. But if I were to try and reach someone in South Africa who is aged, 65, it would have to be a different method. It is the same, like someone from UK for you trying to reach someone aged 5 in Northern Cyprus. It would be quite difficult with the methods that you are used to. So us having to recruit all those local volunteers, it opened us many gates. They reached out to whoever they know and told them about their experiences in the project. And all those people that they communicated with wanted to come and be a part of it too. And marine turtles, because they are the key species, everything that you are doing in your daily life has a level of impact on them, and their state of hopefully not going to be, but extinction or being present, being many or being so little in numbers, is affecting a lot of other organisms. So people, as they got involved with the project, it was easier for them to see that the lights that they're having on around the beach in the nighttime is in fact going to be affecting the turtles, and with the turtles, the quality of the sea and the fish and their future generations' lives as well. So it just became a way for Cypriots to understand how their actions have or could potentially have very bad impact on environment, and so how they could be impacted by it in the future as well. So I am gonna be saying this very odd thing that I am happy COVID happened. Not that, but it's just easier to understand how local interactions are gonna be happening when you are a local yourself. And me being involved with the project obviously helped us recruit more locals, and that is now helping us reach to more locals, which is going to be helping us apply whatever terms need being applied to make it a better environment for turtles in the future.
Yeah, that's amazing. Having been involved with like SPOT and marine turtle conservation projects, I know how important the local volunteers are with like communication with other local people to try and inform them about our project and how important our work is. So going back to international students and also with local people as well, if they happen to listen to our podcast, how can people that are listening get involved? Could this just be through donating or fundraising, or are there other ways that they can get involved?
So currently our applications for next year's Marine Turtle Conservation Project is open, and it's going to be open for another 2 weeks, I think. If they would like to be involved with the project being a volunteer, they could apply through cyprusturtles.org/volunteering, or if they just go in the website. We have extremely cute turtle photos on the first page, and then they can just find where to click to go find that form. We are also accepting donations, and we are trying to fundraise, especially it getting closer to the season, to support us with the costs of the project. So the past 2 years, unfortunately, the COVID happening, we had to spend a lot of money on quarantining, or there's a system of our government where the volunteers flying from overseas don't have to quarantine strictly, but they have an electronic wristband, and they have to like self-isolate for a couple of days, or up to 8 to 10 days sometimes, so that they're still in a comfortable environment. They don't have to quarantine and be strict with it, but they can't really leave the environment they are in. So it's an easier process for them, but it's still quite costly on the project. So we've been trying to fundraise closer to the season to help support that. So if anyone out there who is interested would like to be donating for that cause, they can still find the details that they could donate through on our website. And if anyone fancies a chat, I'm gonna say, about the turtles and how the project is being run, or if they would like to be involved in another way that I can't think of right now, they can reach us on our Instagram page or Facebook page through the search. I don't know how to say it. Search bar saying spot on it, and then searching it. Hopefully they're going to be finding us straight away.
Awesome. And we'll put the links to that down in the show notes as well.
Yeah. And
Thank you very much.
Tag the account on our Instagram as well, so people can find you through there as well.
So Meryem, thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you. And
thank you very much for having me.
Lots of people to get involved with the project.
I'm hoping so. If anyone is interested in the project, they are the most welcome to reach us on our social media accounts, and I would be the happiest to provide any information that they're interested in. And thank you very much for having me. It was amazing chatting with you and trying to let out that overwhelming feeling of turtle love.